In an era where rugby forwards are expected to be powerful yet mobile, aggressive yet disciplined, RG Snyman represents an extreme that few players ever reach, a presence that alters the emotional temperature of a match the moment he steps onto the field. At first glance, it is his size that commands attention, towering, broad, unmistakably imposing. But to reduce Snyman to mere physicality would miss the deeper reality of his influence. Watching him in full flow is to witness controlled violence shaped by understanding, a player who does not simply collide, but calculates the moment of impact, choosing when force must be absolute and when restraint will serve the larger picture. His carries are not rushed, they are deliberate, built on balance and timing rather than blind momentum, allowing him to absorb contact and still move forward, bending defensive lines that were structurally sound seconds earlier. When Snyman accelerates into contact, defenders rarely stop him cleanly, not because he seeks destruction, but because his body position and footwork deny them leverage, forcing multiple players to commit and creating opportunities elsewhere. This is where his value extends beyond the collision itself, as every carry subtly reshapes the defensive landscape, stretching resources and planting doubt. Yet it is in defense that Snyman's reputation as a brutal enforcer truly emerges, not through reckless hits, but through perfectly measured aggression. His tackles arrive with intent, shoulders square, timing exact, stopping momentum at its source, and sending a clear message that space will be contested. These moments are not acts of rage, but statements of control, reminders that dominance in rugby is as psychological as it is physical. Snyman's discipline within this aggression is what elevates him, as he understands that fear is most effective when paired with predictability, when opponents know contact is coming but cannot escape it. At the breakdown, his presence becomes even more significant, using his length and strength to disrupt clean ball, slow tempo, and force attacking sides into decisions they would rather avoid. He does not chase every contest. Instead, he chooses the ones that matter, conserving energy while maximizing impact. This selective intensity reflects a growing maturity, an awareness that dominance sustained over 80 minutes requires patience as much as power. In open play, Snyman's skill set quietly defies expectation, his handling surprisingly soft, his offloads controlled rather than hopeful, allowing continuity even in heavy traffic. These moments challenge the traditional image of the enforcer forward, revealing a player comfortable operating within structure rather than outside it. As matches progress and fatigue begins to erode technique across the field, Snyman's consistency becomes more pronounced, his physical output remaining stable while others falter, creating a widening gap in intensity. It is here, late in games, that his hits feel heavier, his carries more decisive, not because they increase in force, but because they arrive when resistance is weakest. Opponents begin to adjust their patterns, avoiding channels, delaying passes, hesitating in moments where decisiveness is required. This hesitation, subtle but costly, is often the true damage inflicted by players like Snyman, whose influence extends beyond the stat sheet. In set-piece play, his value is equally apparent, providing security at the lineout, pressure against opposition throws, and a stabilizing presence in the tight exchanges where matches are often decided. Yet throughout all this, there is an underlying calm to Snyman's game, a sense that aggression is a tool rather than an emotion, deployed with purpose rather than impulse. He does not seek chaos, he controls it, understanding that intimidation without discipline quickly loses effectiveness. In the modern professional era, where referees scrutinize every collision and margins are unforgiving, this balance becomes essential. Watching RG Snyman operate within these constraints reveals a player who has mastered the art of physical dominance without surrendering to it. Someone who understands that true power lies in restraint as much as impact. His presence forces teams to adapt, alters strategic decisions, and reshapes the rhythm of contests long before the final whistle. And in this measured brutality, this fusion of size, intelligence, and controlled aggression, RG Snyman stands not simply as a giant among men, but as a reminder that the most formidable players are those who know exactly when to unleash their strength and when to hold it back.
As the closing stages of elite matches arrive and the physical cost of 80 minutes begins to surface across the field, RG Snyman's role often becomes more defined rather than diminished, his presence carrying a weight that goes beyond fresh collisions or visible dominance. By this point, opponents are no longer measuring him solely by the force of his tackles or the distance gained in carries, but by the cumulative pressure he has applied throughout the contest, pressure that quietly reshapes decision-making under fatigue. In these moments, Snyman's understanding of timing reveals itself most clearly as he chooses when to assert himself and when to conserve energy, ensuring that his interventions arrive precisely when resistance is weakest. This patience reflects a broader evolution in his game, one that acknowledges that true physical authority is sustained not through constant aggression, but through strategic restraint. His work rate in the tight exchanges remains consistent late into matches, anchoring defensive lines, reinforcing mauls, and denying opponents the clean platforms they rely on to regain momentum. Each collision, though no longer dramatic in isolation, contributes to a broader narrative of inevitability, a sense that space is shrinking and options are narrowing. In attack, his involvement becomes increasingly influential as defensive systems fray, using his size to attract multiple defenders and create mismatches that teammates exploit, often without visible acknowledgement of the role he has played. These contributions rarely draw immediate attention, yet they are essential to the structure and flow of high-level rugby, where outcomes are often decided by the ability to manipulate space rather than dominate it outright. As the match reaches its decisive phases, Snyman's composure under pressure becomes a defining trait, his body language steady, his engagement disciplined, reflecting a player fully aware of the consequences of a single lapse in control. He understands that intimidation loses its power when it becomes reckless, and so he maintains a measured intensity, one that keeps opponents wary without gifting opportunities through indiscipline. This balance between aggression and awareness is what separates impactful forwards from truly influential ones, and it is here that Snyman's maturity is most evident. His communication with teammates remains constant but economical, reinforcing structure without overcomplication, allowing collective effort to replace individual exertion. In these final passages of play, where chaos often defines outcomes, Snyman's presence becomes stabilizing, a reminder that physical dominance is most effective when aligned with clarity. When the final whistle sounds, the immediate memory may rest on a decisive tackle, a turnover, or a crucial carry, yet the deeper impact of his performance lies in the accumulated erosion of opposition confidence, the subtle shifts in behavior that occurred long before the result was sealed. Opponents leave matches not only physically drained, but mentally aware that every collision carried consequence, every hesitation risked punishment. This psychological imprint is perhaps the most enduring aspect of Snyman's influence, one that cannot be captured by statistics alone. Over the course of a season, this effect compounds, shaping how teams prepare, how they structure their attacks, and how they manage risk in his vicinity. Coaches account for his presence not as a single threat, but as a sustained condition, something to be navigated rather than neutralized. In this way, Snyman becomes more than an individual player. He becomes an environmental factor within the match itself. His legacy, therefore, is not defined by isolated moments of brutality, but by the consistent application of controlled force within the evolving demands of modern rugby. He embodies a version of power that is disciplined, intelligent, and adaptive, rejecting chaos in favor of calculated dominance. As the sport continues to evolve, placing greater emphasis on speed, versatility, and decision-making, players like RG Snyman demonstrate that physicality, when refined rather than raw, remains a foundational pillar of success. His performances serve as a reminder that intimidation does not require excess, and that strength, when guided by understanding, can shape contests without ever appearing frantic. In closing, RG Snyman stands as a study in balance between size and skill, aggression and composure, impact and endurance, a player whose influence unfolds not in a single devastating moment, but across the full arc of a match.
And in this measured authority, this quiet inevitability, his place among the modern game's most formidable figures becomes unmistakably clear.